guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're creating this heavy golden glam smoky warm eye look. This look is such a popular one with all of my clients. I can't tell you the amount of times I get asked to do this look. I've also created a different effect with the glitter on the eyelids today, just to show you how to create a little bit more dimension. This is a purely eyes focused look, so I'll be going into a lot of detail about blending and doing the reverse blending process and explaining how I do that. So if you'd like to see how I created this look, then please keep watching. Okay, let's get this started. We're going to do a lovely warm brown gold smoky eye. Something that I love to do, something that my clients love from me. So I just wanted to show you how I create my perfect warm brown looks. Okay, so as you can see, I've done skin already. I have actually filmed that in a separate video. Not sure if it's going up before this one or after, but basically it's all of my favorite products that I use to create my most perfect base. Eyebrows are prepped as well, and lips too. And I've also done my eyelids and gotten them ready. So I've used the P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 02 and just popped that all over my lids. The eyeshadow choice for today is from Makeup by Mario. It's the Master Matte palette. Have a look at those shades. I was in love with this. As soon as I saw it online, I thought, okay, I need this in my life. And good news is it's coming to Sephora. I think it's next weekend. So somewhere about the 25th of September, that'll be in Sephora. So save your pennies. All the products from Makeup by Mario that I've tried are absolutely insane. So I'm going in with my PC37 brush from Peaches and Cream. And what I'm gonna do is dip a tiny amount into that deeper brown shade, and then mostly into that warm chocolate brown shade. I don't want this to be too much of a dark eye, and I'm just going to focus this now in the outer corner of my eye. I want most of the darkness in this look to stay in the outer corner so that it becomes nice and smoky. And also running it into the crease of my eye, so we're creating a kind of like a V shape. At this point, we're not too worried about creating any sort of blending. We're just worried about packing the color on. So next we're going in with my PC38 brush. Excuse the fact that I haven't cleaned it. I've cleaned it off on a towel, but I have been doing back-to-back looks today, and this brush is so essential. So I'm just running it along the edge of that brown shade that I've applied, just so that I can haze it out. And what this does is it makes it a lot easier when you apply the next shade to make sure that the two shades blend together really nicely. Okay, so dipping into the palette now, I am using a smaller fluffy blending brush, PC22 from Peaches and Cream, and I'm just going to dip in to these two brown shades together. And then I'm going to run it right along the edge, really gently, of what the first two shades that we applied in the outer corner. And you can see now why it's so important to haze out that edge with a clean brush before you go in with your next shade, because it just helps those two shades to melt together into a gradient. Just doing the same thing onto the other side now. We want this to be a really blended eye. We don't want any sort of harsh edges at all. Okay, so now using those two lighter brown shades once again, we're going to run this into the crease of our eye, right into the inner corner. One thing I love about the Makeup by Mario palette is that there is hardly any fallout, and it's really, really easy to work with, even if you're a beginner. The shades are easy to blend. They apply nicely. They don't apply too heavily, and I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest with you, especially if you're just starting out. I feel like some eyeshadow palettes these days are so pigmented that it's, you know, if you're a beginner, it's really easy to accidentally pack on too much in one go and then absolutely find it impossible to blend out. So just doing the same thing on the other eye, packing on until I'm happy with the intensity. So obviously a lot of eyeshadow has fallen onto my eyelid space. Do not worry about it, trust the process. I will show you a little tip that I do later on just to clean that up. So now we're going to go in with our third shade. We're just going to use this shade here alone, and I'm using my PC10 brush from Peaches and Cream. I'm going to run this along the edge of the last two shades that we applied, and applying it really, really lightly until we get the intensity that we like. So obviously now that we've been blending from darkest to lightest, we do lose the intensity of our darker shades, but have no fear, we are going to go back in and intensify those really quickly. Okay, so we're going to re-intensify all three shades again. So going in with PC10 and into that lightest caramel shade, we're going to dip in and tap away any excess. PC22, we're going to dip into our two mid-brown shades, tap away any excess, and we're going to reapply them exactly where we applied them the first time. And what this does is just re-intensify the color, brings it right back, but then we're also blending it out to make sure that it looks blended and not just plonked on. So we're putting down the PC10 brush with the lighter shade. We're going to keep the mid-brown shades of PC22 and going in back with our original brush and dipping into these two shades here. And we're going to re-intensify the first two shades again. So now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Dipping into the two darker shades, I'm grabbing my PC31 brush and I'm basically going to run this along the outer corner of my lower lash line. So now using my PC14 brush, I'm just dipping into those mid-brown shades and just applying those into the inner corner of my lower lash line. Then grabbing M562 from Morphe. I really love this brush so much. It's so fluffy and soft. Dipping into the lightest caramel shade and then running it along that lower lash line just to balance out the top from the bottom. So using my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencil, this is in the shade Whiskey. It's a deep brown shade. I'm just going to run this in my lower lash line. Okay, we're going to do my favorite little trick now. I've just put out some P. Louise base, the same thing that I used to do my eyelids earlier. And I'm using my PC20 brush. It's a flat, fluffy brush, as you can see. I'm dipping into the P. Louise and I'm sort of tapping away any excess. We don't want too much product. And we're just going to clean up the inner 2/3 of our eyelids. So applying it along the lash line first, just to disperse the product. Moving our way up into the socket here, just in the inner 2/3 of the eye. So I really want the edge of this to be soft and blended, so I'm going in with my PC38 brush and just blending away the edge of the P. Louise base. I just don't want it to be too harsh like a cut crease. So just looking now from one eye to the other, the difference in how it makes your eye appear so much larger when you just clear out that space. Dipping into the P. Louise again, we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Just going in with my mid-brown shades with my PC22, I'm just going to run this along the edge here just to soften out the edge of the outer corner. Just want it to be nice and blended. I don't want any harsh lines between one part and the other. Unfortunately, this is a fantastic palette, but there is no shimmer shade, so I am going to move on to another palette for some shimmer shades. I tried not to do it, but I am dipping into my favorite clientele palette. What can I say? I love it that much. We're just going to go in with the shade Boss, just up here. And the trick is we're going to use the same PC20 brush that we just applied the P. Louise base. And this creates a really beautiful effect in intensifying that shimmer. And we're just going to plonk that shimmer exactly on top of where we just applied the P. Louise base. Just grabbing any pencil brush, I'm just going to dip into Luxe as well, and I'm just going to use that as an inner corner highlight shade just to brighten up this inner corner here. I love that shade for an inner corner. The next step we're doing is we're going to go in with a loose glitter pigment. So this is from Peaches and Cream. It's the shade Chainmail. And we're going to use the same brush we just used before, PC20, and just going to dip in, tap away any excess, and we're just going to tap it lightly over where we apply that shimmer. Comparing from one eye to the other, it's incredible the difference. So again, to step up the shimmer, you can add this as an optional extra. This is from Beauty Bay, and this is their liquid crystal shadows. This color is Precious Topaz, and I absolutely adore it so much. So what I'm gonna do is pop it out onto a metal plate, and you can just go in with any sort of flat brush you have at all. Dipping into it, and I'm just gonna tap it along the edges and along the gold shadow here, just to create even more dimension. Okay, dipping into Makeup by Mario again, we're just going to go into the deepest brown shade and a little bit of the black. I'm going to use my M160, the 1/8 liner brush. I'm just going to line my upper lash line just so that my lashes, my falsies, have somewhere to blend into. We're not worried about this being too accurate, it's just going to be a really smoky liner. Okay, liner is done. I'm just gonna go plonk on some lashes and I'll be right back. Okay, lashes are on. I've used the style 259 from Model Rock, one of my favorite styles. And I've also put on mascara. This is from Lancome. It's the Idol Lash Mascara. And I think we're all done. I think this look is complete. So I'm really, really happy with the way that it turned out. One of my favorite things was putting on the different sort of types of glitter on the eye. I just find that it creates such a special dimension to the eye and really just lifts up the look. If you did enjoy today's video, I would love if you could give it a thumbs up and a comment in the comment section below. And if you would consider subscribing to my channel, I would be ever so grateful. I'll see you for the next video. Bye.